Onegaishimasu.
Onegaishimasu.
You start a little bit loosening, lengthening body, everything sink, settle down. And in this case, really imagine the movements coming from the center of the head. So you can kind of place your feeling, your mind in the center of the head. Probably quite easy for us in the. Because most of us tend to live in the head, so it's actually quite an easy kind of idea. But just get this idea you're kind of being pulled up and down from the head. So really imagine the head's the kind of center of the movement. Let's try and. It's as if the head's kind of pulling the body up, which is a kind of different feeling that we have normally in Aikido, which is moving from the center. Just try and see if you can find this kind of feeling, shifting the center with the movement. And try and feel the neck kind of lengthen as you do it. It's as if the neck's getting drawn up. Good. And we'll just bring it down, go to the chest. Again, just imagine you can kind of pinpoint the middle of the chest. Just try and go to the kind of front back. Really imagine the movements kind of coming from the chest. Really kind of motivating back, forward, and let the whole body kind of just follow the chest. And this movement's really also very good for feeling the balance in the body. So also feel that you can kind of take the balance a little bit too far. So there'll be a tendency for the body to try and kind of pull back and go into tension, but just feel that you can also open the body out, front and back. And if you need to kind of take a step with it, just kind of play with it. Play a little bit, kind of coming out of balance, front and back, and then feel what happens in the body. At the moment, I've got a lot of tension in the legs. I'm just kind of doing a lot of running yesterday. So then I go forward, and the legs are going to start to do this. And I just want to see if I can kind of release the tension. Just release it forwards, backwards. Just kind of play with it a little bit. It's also nice, just play with the legs. You can go into hammy, or you can go into a kind of just a front back stance. Just again, just explore the direction a little bit more. You can slightly open the movement out, so you can come down a bit more down, a bit more to the back. But still try and feel like the chest is motivating it. Just experiment both sides with the width between the legs. Just play a little bit with it. And then just the last one, just explore the same direction. You're just going to kind of step with it. So a little bit like how we finished yesterday, or we worked on yesterday. But just imagine you can kind of motivate again the movement from the chest and back. So you can play with kind of different movements. And this was explained in the Seitai. If you think about, if you watch people in the streets when they walk, everyone has a different kind of way of using the body when they walk. Some people will kind of walk chest out, and some people will walk in a way kind of quite timid through, and everything kind of in between. But just explore that you can kind of draw the body forward. Just play a little bit with it again. Just let the body kind of carry forward, backwards. Imagine there's kind of a path, front and back, and you just let the body kind of fall along it. And you just catch the body with the feet, so it's quite relaxed. And you just play with it. And at the moment, it's not really balanced, not really centered, because we're really moving from the chest, but just to get this feel for the body. Just keep everything quite loose. So, yeah, good. And then just go back to the feet, down. Just start to go to side to side. Now you're shifting again the movement down. Think of like the lower ribs and the diaphragm, this kind of whole area. Try and motivate all the movement from this point. This is quite easy to do the hips, to do this. We're kind of used to doing that. But see if you can really motivate this whole part of the body. And we'll let all of the body follow it. This is a quite strange feeling. If you can access it there, you feel the top of the body goes up and the lower body goes up as well. So it's as if you're taking a stack out from the rib cage of the body. So it's that, and then the body will kind of fall from it, which is totally different feeling from doing it with the head like this or doing it with the hips first. This is kind of strange. So play a little bit to kind of get this kind of feeling. You can play with the arms because it's a little bit clearer. Makes the movement a bit bigger. Just feel you get drawn out. And the easiest way to do this is just get someone to pull you like this. The whole back will get kind of drawn out. You can quite relaxed. I'll just play a little bit. And just also explore the front and the back. So a little bit to the front. Let's see what happens in the body. So a little bit to the back. Just be quite careful with the back direction for the spine. Don't want to twist against the spine. So nice and relaxed. You'll probably feel the body will want to start to twist out of, or twist with it, turn into the direction. Totally natural. So just kind of follow that movement. Like, nice to go to the front and just kind of bring the hands down to the ground a little bit and then come back. We're just starting to activate the body. And again, this is quite difficult because we're kind of used to in Aikido, we're used to kind of moving from the center down. So we'll go there next, but just for now, feel like the upper body gets kind of thrown out. And then you're basically going to soften the movement with the body. So imagine you actually get kind of disturbed out of balance. Just play a little bit and come down to the ground if you like. Or you can just kind of absorb it. Yeah. Just starting to activate the lower body a little bit. And then just start to kind of twist the body a little bit. Start to work with a spiral. Slightly throw the body out a little bit to the front, a little bit to the back. You're basically starting to now shift the movement down to the hips. So just start to feel that the arms, the lower body, the spine, the upper spine just starts to release more and more, drain down, and then start to feel that the hips, again, they start to now become the center of the movement, or the motivator for the movement. Just let the hips carry the movement. Play a little bit with the feet. Play a little bit with the arms, kind of passing the arms out. You can think about, there's really two directions you can go with the arms. There's kind of up and there's out in a way. So just play a little bit with these directions. And at the moment, don't think necessarily about grounding the body. Think about just mobilizing it. So sometimes actually not being grounded helps to mobilize the body. And again, just feel that you can play a little bit, if you like, come to the ground a little bit. So you kind of now bringing the whole body into a kind of spiral down to the ground, and it just makes it very clear, the movement. And if you like, and if you can, just also bring the hands down to the ground. Come down, oh yeah, and spiral it out. Just a little bit, draw the body out. And just let the body kind of settle into a spiral. And come back out to the. Try and again get the feeling all the time the movements being motivated, center, 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 and then out as well. Center, center out, center, center. Set. That's it. Nice, 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 nice. And we'll just do 2 exercises. You'll probably see these in dojo sometimes, but the first one's like this. You basically do this kind of motion. And this is to open up the shoulders and the hips, but you basically, if it was to make it kind of formal, you would do this, and then this. So wait, for me, this feels like a little bit like doing a cushion egg, so it's like the base is wide, and then I kind of reach down, stretch it open, and then come down this way. And this is the kind of formal way. But just imagine, do this quite slow, don't kind of twist against the body, but just allow the body to kind of drop to the ground. And try and link in a way the down and the up. So as the down hand comes in, the up comes up, down, down. And again, try and get the feeling, the whole thing's motivated from the hips. It's like this. Just play with it. And you might feel a little bit easier, but you can make it small. So make it small. And then once I can make it small, connect it, start to open it out. And now try and link the dropping of the body with the raising of the arms. This. So it's quite an active movement. That's it. And just let the head follow the up hand. So if you basically, a bit like we do in Koshinagi as well, let the head follow the top hand. Because otherwise what happens, the body can kind of split out. So I'm basically going to join the movement up while it's really grounded down that way. That way. That's it. Yeah, good, good, good. That's it. That's it. And just notice if there's a difference on the left side and the right side. You might feel one side's a bit tighter, one side's a bit looser, depending. That's it. Okay, good. And then the next one, just to kind of circle, and you also probably see this in the dojos a lot. It's coming up, and then really circling the body up, over, and then to the back. This way. So really kind of, and in this case, if you think about this, you can do all the routes kind of in an athletic way. So you can do it like, or in this case, just feel like you can slightly release through the body. So use the fact that the body's coming down to the ground and release through it here. And then feel that you draw the body up with the hips again. So really prioritize the hips. So this is another one of the swings, but it's a bit of a complicated one to kind of catch, but just get the feeling that you kind of drop through the swing. Drop through, catch it up. Drop through, catch it up. So it's really prioritizing the hips and the lower back in the movement. Let the body really drop. And fully up and then fully down. Fully up, fully down. Fully up, fully down. And then just play with both directions. Go the other way. think about gathering something up and then dropping it down. Good. That's it. That's it. Nice. So, good. Okay, and we'll do a kind of few breathing exercises with it. Again, you want to kind of walk quite a wide posture, a little bit, not quite a horse stance, but you want to come down to kind of squatting position. So in this case, you're going to kind of gather up to the ground, and it's as if you're kind of picking something up, so you're kind of scooping with the hand. Yeah, and then what we're going to do is lift it to the center and then roll it out to the top, and then just release the arms down. This is quite a kind of active way, so you kind of draw it in. Yeah, out, we kind of draw everything in towards the center, pull everything to the center, center, and then reach it up. Yeah. Stretch the body up and then release it down. Just drop it. You kind of draw up, gather, and then once the hands kind of come together, draw everything to center. Center, draw it up. And then drop it. Just let the breath follow the movement. You might find it's kind of natural to kind of breathe in at this point. And out at this point. And once you've got the kind of coordination for it, just make it a little bit more flexible. So you go down, in, up, and then as you drop it, catch it. Down, center, up, drop it, catch it. So just kind of flow the movement together now. The key thing is feel this kind of expansion. Basic pull towards the center. And start to feel the hands can basically roll through the movement. Then you're going to come up and then let them kind of wave over. So you want to basically unlock the movement now into kind of a wave. So like this, gather, and then over. And see if you can really do it with motivating the center. So you've got this kind of feeling like this. Quite a strange feeling. A little bit. That's it. Just a few more. That's it. Nice. That's it. Great. Very nice. Good. Yeah, and then just one point about the, in a way, there's lots of ways to breathe, and about as many ways as you can imagine breathing and uniting to a movement. But if you think about in the way we use the body, there's basically two sets. I breathe out and go like this and collapse the body, or I breathe out and I kind of do it in a way which is quite active. So it's like, so in a way you've got an active breath and a quite a kind of relaxing passive breath, or not relaxing, but yeah, a kind of, it's the kind of breath you do when you sit down in an armchair, kind of, you let the body, everything just relaxes down. But in Aikido, we also do it in a way, we do a kind of dynamic breath. So all the kind of ki work we do is in a way, it's pretty dynamic. So it's kind of bringing the body into a movement, which is like, so everything's kind of focusing in, this kind of thing. So in a way, when you do this one, you can do the out breath in a way like, and let everything kind of noodle. Or you can do in a way where it's kind of this way. So just play now with the breath. You basically make it a bit simpler. You just draw the hands up this way, and then you press it down. So in this case, you're going to breathe in here, press up, and then turn the hands, press it down. Imagine you I imagine in this case like a ball, and kind of picking the ball up from underneath. And then I'm somehow turning the ball and then pressing it down. Just like up. Out. Now just play with the breath a little bit, because you can obviously feel this. Like this, nothing in the hands. Or something that's kind of active. And I want the feeling to be like a kind of press, so that the pressure of the breath is like a kind of this, rather than a kind of. So it's basically, in a way, you're kind of focusing the breath. So it's actually the same breath. And actually what I want is the relaxation from the breath. So I actually want that level of relaxation, but I want to match the relaxation with a sense of focusing the breath, which sounds kind of paradoxical, but what you want to do is let that relaxation focus to a point. Yes, and then let it up. Yeah. And the more I can kind of motivate, bring the body together, the more kind of power you'll kind of feel in it, or the more energy you'll feel in it. Power is probably the wrong word. So just try a few. So it's quite simple. You can get a kind of taste of this. It's kind of active breath. That's it. That's it. That's it. Nice. That's it. Great. Nice. Okay, good. Okay. Now this is the same, but it's basically, I'm basically going to unlock the movement. So this is looking for something a little bit more elastic now. So the same movement, I do this up, and then what I want to feel is you drop from the center, and then you get a kind of, what you want to feel is a sense that the center hits the ground, and then you get a kind of reverb that runs through the body. Now, again, what I don't want to do is kind of hold the hands. So that the problem with the active breath and using the hands is like, I create tension through the system here, and then I'll basically block the reverb from it. If you imagine, like, this is like doing a Aikyo, so I want the center to be constantly kind of acting on the person. And the moment I block the arms or stretch the arms out, I basically block the body like this. And then all this kind of tension will block the center being able to work, unless I just work like a kind of robot through the movement like this. But what I want later is something that's quite elastic. So it's got this kind of quality, and then you've got that kind of quality. So this is a simplified way to look at this, but it's like this, up, and then really feel that you press out. The hand should have a kind of elastic quality. So they shouldn't kind of boom, 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 bounce, but they should have a boom. They should be quite elastic. This, 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 this. And just make the movement really big so you can make it very clear. Wow. The body, everything just drops down. Bam. And really use the breath to do it. This will help kind of focus the movement. That's it. And if you get kind of lost with the feeling, just imagine you're doing an Aikyo on someone, like a really powerful Aikyo that's also very relaxed. This is a kind of really a kind of different way of using power. That's it. Nice. That's it. Good, Bernie. Nice. And try and feel the rebound that goes back to the center. So if you think about connections always a two-way thing. So like a phone connection or anything, the things always speak to each other. So in this case, if I go to tension, I kind of drop everything into the ground, but nothing comes back to the body. Everything just kind of, and the body's basically blocking the connection back. So if you think about kind of feedback which runs through the system, you've got this, and then boom. But if I feel the impact of the ground, I also feel something boom, come back to the body. So this, and that what I'm looking to do is basically allow that connection in. So let it up, and really try and feel that even though the lower body basically does this, stabilizes, the upper body base basically stays open to receive the kind of impact in a way. That's it. Quite a strange feeling once you can kind of access that. Bam. Nice. That's nice. Great, great, great. Nice. Yeah. Okay, good. And now we'll do one we're really kind of familiar with. So it's the same pattern. Then you do this. And then what I want you to do, actually in this case, you do more like this. So think a bit more like a kind of sword. You do this. And then what I want you to do is again, drop it and then find this position. So this is really like the kind of tiny ankle, but what you're gonna do is keep the shoulder with the palm movement. So I can really just focus on the dropping of the hips. Now just get the feeling first, just get the connection to it. So the hips to the hands, hips to the hands, hip hand, and just kind of create a chain through the movement. If you think about it, this is just pure sword work. And lots of the hand movements. Again, use the breath if you like, up and then out, up, out. Just make the movement quite clear for now. Get the connection, get the coordination. Good. Nice. Good. Good. And now most of you are actually doing this already, but this is basically unlocked from the last one. So think about a kind of elastic connection now, especially in the ground. So as you come up and as you come down, there's a sense now of, now I want the feeling really like the sword, there's a sense of focus and there's a sense of, again, feedback that goes through the whole system. So rather than being a kind of, I want something that's a bit more, so it's got a kind of, what I'm really picturing is kind of slamming the hand onto something. And what I want to do is with a kind of dead weight, so it's got a kind of quality of, but it also just stops through the body. So this kind of quality. So breathe in again, this, and then just let everything drop and stabilize. And really feel that the centers motivating. And you might find this easy now, just make the movement a bit smaller so you kind of come up, drop, come up, drop, come up, drop. Because this position is perfect because the hips are already connected to the hands. This is just a natural position for the hands to connect to. We're kind of used to it. Now as the hands come further up, the less I'll feel the connection. Less. Unless I'm really actively looking for it. So try and just play a little bit here. The body settles, and it's really just about playing. So try and feel the whole weight, the underside of the arm. And you can also just play with one hand as well. Just to make the connection super clear. And then you can do both. Just play with it a little bit. That's it. Okay, good. And this is also the problem is also one of connection, but it's also one of thinking through the movement. So I can do in a way like this. And kind of, I'm trying to think through the hands. So I'm trying to make the hands do something. But in this case, really just allow the body to kind of just drop out of the head and just let everything go to the center. So you might find this easier sometimes just to close the eyes. Forget about the head, forget about the eyes, the brain, just let it go. Everything just drops through. And I want to go to kind of like a mass feeling rather than a kind of thinking feeling. And I want to just go to something that's more. So kind of forget the kind of thinking through the movement, just get a kind of and this is the beauty with very simple movements that I can just exit from thinking and go pure to feeling. Yeah. Breathe. That's it. That's it. Just feel boom, really heavy. That's it. No. Good, good, good. Good, and then we'll do a bit more of an active one. So if you think now about going to Morotodori Kokiho, what you do is the same kind of thing. You're going to kind of spiral up this way and really feel that you again, drawing down, but lengthen through the spine. It's got this kind of quality. And then as much as you need to move the feet, but really focus on spiraling over, and then dropping through the body this way. So if you feel you need to, if the knee feels quite tight, you'll probably feel like you want to kind of open the foot out, which is totally fine. But just focus if you can, come to here, and then really just focus on the body coming down, drawing out this way. And really feel this kind of position where I maintain the length through the spine, and the shoulders are nice and wide, and the hands feel like they're just placed through the hip. And then release it up, and the first few just get this feeling for the chain connection that runs through the movement. So again, hands to hips, and then hands to hips down. That's it. And again, just feel the length, the extension all the time. It's always kind of switched on. Again, working the breath. And really look for a sense of heaviness now. So you've got a kind of really dynamic heaviness. Okay. That's it, nice. Yeah. Okay, good. So the obvious mistake now we make with this is to do it with the hands. So what this leads to is like this. The body gets pulled out, and then the body gets pulled out. So it seems really obvious to say, but we always do it. And especially when we've got a partner, we always do this. We do it, and then like this. And then I go, shit, I'm out of balance. So I move the leg this way, and I try and catch myself in it. But just try and feel like what I don't want to do is lead the hand with them. We'll lead the movement with the hands. So I don't want to kind of really feel again, going back to the center, and really feel the center raises. Really, it's just like the sword work. So the center raises the sword, and then the center cuts it down. But don't try and avoid the sense that the hands are leading the movement. Really just get a sense that the hips lead, and just make it in a way you kind of comically exaggerate it, where I go kind of hip, hand, and I drop the hips through the movement, and I let the hands follow that. Really play with it, so that I get the hip motivated. And again, feel you can also make it smaller. You might feel it easier just to make it a bit smaller. And when I can get the connection, open it out. That's it. Nice. Very nice. Nice. Okay, good. Yeah, and again, this is the topic of the week, is about the body being lazy. Now, if I'm looking to be settled, grounded, heavy, the body will automatically just go back to this position. So the body will kind of go, grounded, centered, connected, but I don't have the extension now. So the problem now is how do I ground, settle, and be dynamic through extension? So just now really have a sense of that, rather than kind of doing this, which is really just the down with no out. So just get a sense that you can slightly expand the motion out. So you've got a really clear upwards movement, like this, and then you've got a really clear down and out. And the out's really important, because I don't want to just drop the person. If I drop the person like this, they basically collapse into my structure. I don't want to throw the person away, but I want to drop the person into a hole there, just kind of there, somewhere like that. So imagine now you're kind of picking something up, like a ball or a cushion or something like this, and I kind of pick it up, and then I drop it here, like this. So it's got a sense of extension out, but I don't want to drop the cushion at my feet like this. Bam! Aye! So I want to pick it up, I want to, and then I want to, like this. So it goes somewhere out, but I stay down. That's the key part. So the down's really, really important. If you've got something heavy to throw, like a cushion or a child, you can throw them down. Bam! Medicine ball is the best. Like a big medicine ball is really the perfect thing. So I used to have these in the dojo. Done, out, up, and boom. It's got that kind of quality. So I want the whole movement to kind of penetrate through the ground, bam, in a really kind of active way. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Nice, nice, nice. Very good. Yeah, good, well, good. Yeah, yeah, and you can also just hold the object as well. So if you've got something heavy, yeah, you can even not throw it down. You can just kind of hold it. Bam, bam. Nice. Good. Good. Okay, so it's a little bit like the sword work. we tend to minimize the raise. So we tend to kind of focus on the and the raise is quite empty. But if you think about the sword work, I want to really kind of motivate that movement up. So it's the same with this Kokyu movement. What you want is a sense that you come in, and then the feeling's really like the raise is quite active or very active. So in a way, it's not a kind of, and then but it's in a sense like a kind of, and then it's this feeling again, like kind of gathering through the center drops, and I raise the hands. So you got this kind of feeling. And it's really a kind of spiral that runs through the system. So just in the last few we'll do, you can also bring the body work into it if you like. So just makes it a bit more active. Gets the hit, and really feel that you did. So something's draining down through that motion and really spiraling through the hands. So basically now just feel the whole movement's one thing. So we tend to do kind of the and then the. But just feel that this is like one circle. It's kind of, that's actually one spiral, but feel that it spirals up, and then out. So just try and chain that last movement together now. That's it. Yeah. Nice. That's it. Mm. Nice. Great. Okay, good. Just take a bokken. So we'll do a little bit of bokken work. You can catch that kind of all the same motion. It's now a really simple movement. You're just going to go to the first suburi. Really get a sense that you draw the body in, extension up kokyu, and then drop it down. And just go straight away into something that's quite elastic. So try and really use again the sense that you're kind of extension. The body drops down, but something goes boom, pow. So it's got this kind of quality, which is exactly the same feeling as this. The kokyu has a bit more of a kind of open movement, but the swords works a bit more focused, but the feeling's exactly the same. Same kind of dynamic moves through the body. Just get the sense of the hip. And then really use the breath as well. So all the breath work we did this morning. Just keep trying to use it now. That's it. So good. Nice, nice. There's this saying in the Chinese classics, in the Tai Chi classics, and it's this. It says, "One thing moves, everything moves." So there's lots of kind of takeaways from that. This kind of sentence is really simple, but the main thing is that this idea of motivating from the center affects straight away the periphery. So in a way that we were talking about, or talked about yesterday, like this kind of feeling like an electric motor, everything just kind of switches on. So if I switch the motor, the electric motor on my bike, the whole bike moves, but it's being motivated from the motor in the back. But the motor switches on, the whole bike goes. It doesn't. The bike doesn't kind of stall, and then the motor goes, and then the rest of the bike goes with it. So if you think about it, if you think about like an engine like this, and in our case the engine's like the center, the hips. Think about the center, basically, boom. The connection is boom straight away, but it's not kind of and then it releases. So what that basically translates as here, the first motion is this. So the feelings that the center motivates it, but straight away everything goes with it. So just get a feel that you can get this kind of feeling. What we tend to do when we do center work is we delay the periphery. So what we're actually doing is fake center work because we're delaying the periphery and moving the center. So we're actually doing something like this. Center goes and then the periphery. Center goes and then the periphery. But this is like fake center periphery work. So what you want is the center straight away affects the periphery. So again, the connection is always the same. This, but it's not kind of hips, hand. This is really delayed. So it's actually not, in a way you want the connection to be direct, which actually means it looks like they're all working together, which is actually what you want. But just get the sense now that you can motivate the whole movement. And then the second movement's the same. Center, and then delay. Or just get the feeling that everything just swings through. Everything just swings through. So you might feel, to get this kind of catch this, the easiest way for me is like just swing through the curve. So everything just goes vroom, through the movement. Just that kind of idea that one thing moves everything. Or one thing moves, everything moves. That's it. Yeah. Good. The first super is a really perfect movement to kind of catch this. Center, periphery, bam. That's it. That's it. Nice. That's it. That's it. Great. Nice. Nice. Great. Okay, good. So we'll just add one movement to this now. So it's one of my favorite movements to do in terms of simplistic movements. You're just going to find the back with the first subari, cut down, and then just carry forward with the number 7. Just come to here, and then just bring it back. So very simple. Again, just try and get this feeling, the center, get motivated and affecting everything. So as soon as the center goes back, everything's going to kind of roll forward, and then just catch the settling in the end. Just work on the, basically it's a keyhole movement. So, and then everything just goes. Just let the body kind of carry everything forward. Good. So the reason I really like number 7 is like it's a very clear spiral movement. So just see what happens like this. So I get this, and then if I'm stuck in a way like a linear movement, it's got this kind of quality. So everything moves in a kind of so I just kind of catch it kind of linear. But everything's actually just kind of stuck. But just get the sense in the number 7, it's like the whole body goes, it goes like this. So the whole body does this, catches a spiral through the move. This is like this. So the Shomanuchi is like a kind of baseline movement there. And then from the Shomanuchi, if you think about it, you've got like an arcing movement. And then from here, you've got a really clear spiral, which passes through the movement. Now it's very tight in the sword. So the sword moves quite tightly, but the whole body does a kind of, if I make it really big, it's like this. It's like this. It's got this kind of quality. So just slightly exaggerated so that you can really get a sense of what the movement does. But it's really got a quality of spiraling this way. And again, the key is that motivating movement. The very first thing I do needs to be a spiral. So I need to pass a spiral directly through the body and not kind of but. So number 7's a very interesting movement for spiral work. That's it. Nice. Okay, good. So if I can never catch this feeling, I just go to a really simple exercise. So a lot of the time we mistake a forward motion or a stepping motion for the actual movement. So in the case of the ski work, we kind of mistake the step for the thrust. But actually the nugget of the thrust or the seed is this. So it's got this quality that's just from the center. So I don't need to go anywhere ever. So the feeling with the spiral work is that I just motivate it from the center. And then I basically put that feeling into motion. But the motion's not the thing. The thing is the actual motion you did, this kind of feeling. So just play a little bit. And what I like best in this case is really feel that the bokken's quite free. It's quite loose. The center's really acting through the hand. So just try and catch it. And I'll do whatever I want or whatever I need to, just to feel that the body's connecting to the sword. This is very crude, very exaggerated. And then I start to slow it down and then feel that you can snap through it, snap through it, snap through it, snap through it, snap, snap, snap. So just play with that a little bit. Make it big, make it small. Just make it kind of connected. That's it. Yeah, exactly, Catherine. Good. And what you're trying to do is unlock the thrust from the hips. So this is really just like a kind of like a basic ski movement with a punch. It's exactly the same. You just got this kind of added kind of really a spiral sense through it. That's it. Good, Catherine. Good. Yeah. Good. You have to unlock the shotokan. It's got this. Yeah, good. Good. Yeah, just play it a little bit. I'm doing a lot of atemi work at the moment, but just feel you basically with the hip here now. You can punch in lots of ways again, but there's 2 basic ways. I can punch out with the fist, and then the body is kind of carried away, or I can get the sense that the center pushes it out. So just get the feeling from here. Just work the right side. If you're left-handed, work the left side. But if you're right-handed, most of the right-handed, just the right. But really get the sense. Just do a few and feel like dunk, dunk. Basically, the fist gets pulled out, bang, and then the body pulls out. And then really get a sense that you can do bang. The best way is to do this really slow, but just get a sense that the center bang, center motivates the hand. And it's not about power. It's not actually about punching. It's about the dynamic from the center to the hand. So if you're not used to punching, you can also do it this way, just with the hand like this. So if you're really a kind of Aikido person, which I am as well, but if you've got striking background, you can use the fist, but you might feel it's actually easier just to use the hand. And then it's a bit more like a kind of pushing motion, but it's exactly the same motion. So it actually doesn't matter what I do with the hand. It's what's happening between the hip to the hand. So just play with this. And once you feel like you've got a kind of connection to it with the fist or with the open hand, just feel that you can kind of snap it. Snap it. And it's very light. And I'm keeping it, in this case, purposely on the hip level. So I'm not kind of rising it up. So it just kind of keeps the connection a bit clearer. And I really feel you can just start to start to feel that you can kind of impact it. And just play with it. In this case, there's no kind of perfect form, but there's a kind of feeling I want to catch, which is a really kind of heavy, relaxed fist. Just play with it a little bit. And also do it wrong a lot. I do this. We're doing it wrong all the time anyway. So actually, doing it wrong is kind of good. So, and doing it wrong helps me really identify what I don't want to do, which is easier than trying to figure out what I do want. So sometimes it's easier to feel within the movement. It feels like I don't want, and then I can move towards something more balanced. Just play with it a little bit. Nice. Okay, and then just come back to the bokken. Do the same exercise. Just again, center position, shoulder width. Connect to the hand, and now feel the connection with the sword through the whole sword, through the grip to the hips. And again, just get the feeling now. Just get this. This. Just feel that you expand everything out. Good. Nice. And then we'll do a little bit of a different exercise, which is actually the same. It's like a short Shomanuchi work. So I'm just going to kind of raise up a little bit, and I'm going to catch the hips down in the cut, and then I'm going to press it out. I'm just going to have one. What I'm doing now is really finding the focus in the hips here, and then again pressing the hips out to a spiral, passing the movement out. The sword. Very, very, very condensed movement's what we were doing before. Okay, good. Now, one of the big problems we got is twisting the body in Aikido. So we do a lot of the time these kind of things. Or I kind of twist the body out. Now, what's happening is, if I do like this way, what's happening, the body's kind of splitting out. Now, what's happening is I'm trying to find a spiral in the upper body. But if you think about it, the spiral is always going to come from the lower body. So this kind of quality. Now, just let the body follow that motion. But what I don't try and do is find the spiral in the arms, the upper body. This will just twist the body out. It's just natural. It's going to happen. So if you imagine you've got if you imagine you've got a long piece of string or a long piece of rope or something, in this case, you want to turn the rope from the center, and then the two ends will spin out. But if I turn the rope from the top, the bottom of the rope will kind of spin out like this. What I want to do is turn it from the center and let both sides do this. So imagine you're really doing this, and then this will follow. But if I turn it from the top, this will go out. That makes any sense. It feels okay in my head, but I don't think it makes sense. But just feel that the body's like a kind of a rope. I want the whole body to twist from the center, or spiral from the center, but not from the top, and not from the feet. To the center. So feel everything just spirals from the center. That's it. Nice. So, very good. Okay, nice. Good. So we'll just finish again with a little short kata. So in this case, we're going to go like this. Find again the Shomanuchika here, cut through, thrust through with the 7, and then from here you're going to find a direct rotation to the back. So from the front foot this way, slice to the back like this, and then nice and easy, just come forward with a yokomen here to the back, and then just come back to the start. So a really short kata, just back 1, thrust 2, slice to the back 3, and then finish forward with a yokomen. Nice and grounded, and then just come back. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. It's coming back. 8. That's it. Okay, good. Good. So the problem is the rotation with the slice. So if you think about it, none of these movements are going to stop. So they're going to come through and slice through. So you're never really going to stop in a movement. So think of the stops like a pause, and the pause in a way to gather the body to really gather the feelings that I can press through straight into the next movement. So if I use the pause intelligently, in a way, what I'm looking for here in the pause is really, am I centered and am I grounded? And then am I really extending into the bokken? Now the extent to which I can feel that will unlock that next movement. And the more I can feel that, the less I will go into these kind of movements, which is pretty stiff. So try and get a feeling that you use the pause to really gather the body up, and then bam, pass the next movement, and then gather, and then bam, and then gather the body, and then bam. So really use the pause in a way where you're kind of self-checking, and it's not to do with the intellect, it's to do with feeling. So I'm feeling, where is the body? And then I feel like I can pass the movement out, and then I feel where the body is. Relocate the body to the center, and bam, done. So all the time the weapon's trying to pull you out of center, but try and really all the time draw back everything into the center. So use the pauses in a way. It's not about being static. It's a kind of still moment which gives you a chance to really gather back to the center. Yeah, that's it. That's it, very nice. Nice. Good. Okay, the last few, just play a little bit with the slice and the yokomen combination, because this is usually the problem. So, or this is usually actually it's the fun part. So in this case, just play with any position and any kind of slice, but just get the thing you can spiral into it, spiral through the yokomen. And if you like, you can start to blend them together. But really just play with unlocking the movement. So slicing around, slicing around. But really get the feeling you're going to kind of spiral the whole body through the movement. Spiral in. Spiral out, and just open the movements out. So you can make them small, you can make them big, but just play a little bit with spiraling. That's you. You can also do it just one-handed with the right hand, so it's quite nice. Just play with it, break it down. Bring all the time back to the core of the movement. Yeah. Nice. That's it. Nice, Petrus. Nice, nice, nice. Nice. Great. Nice. Nice. Great. Okay, we'll stop there. Stop. はい、どうもありがとうございました。
どうもありがとうございました。
Very good.